Hi guys, making my way into my studio today to record today's live, and which is all about finding interesting, different source material for your painting and drawing. So let's make a start. I know that some of us get stuck when we're painting and drawing, particularly on what to paint and draw. That becomes a bit of an issue. I find this with my students who maybe who are engaging in an assignment brief or a project, or they're endeavouring to fill a sketchbook, and they get stuck for ideas. And I think it's part of this grandeur myth that artists need to paint and draw really extraordinary things all the time. So magnificent landscapes, beautiful models, the cutest little puppy dog, you know, whatever it is, it has to be like astounding in some way, or like really significant in another way. And that can therefore be a bit of a blockage, because then we don't know, we get stuck because we're not always surrounded by astounding things. But we don't have to do this. We can find amazing inspiration, new ideas, creative insight from drawing and painting the things around us. Now, this might not end up with the most beautiful and stunning artwork, but it's a great way of developing your creative ideas, getting new inspiration, refining your skill levels as well, because we might over time get really good at painting amazing landscapes really well, but maybe we can't draw something quite humdrum and ordinary because we've never done it before. So drawing things which surround us in quite an ordinary way can refine our skill levels as well. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. That's the art tip today, to draw something ordinary. So I've scoured my house, and I just tried to find something that I see every day, but that was really ordinary, but also quite beautiful as well, and its ordinariness, if that's a word. So, and the thing that I found was this amazing object. You might recognize it. It's a pan, and this is what I'm going to paint and draw today for you in my live. So I'm going to set up my studio space. I'm going to draw it, I'm going to paint it, and then you can see the out. So I'm setting up my palette. Now, I haven't talked too much about colour theory, but my palette is quite a restrictive palette. I'm working in acrylics as well, by the way. So one of my main colours is ultramarine blue. I also use a bit of cadmium red. Now, cadmium red is, and most types of red are actually stronger in pigment terms than you think. So you tend not to use as much red. A little goes a long way. And then cadmium yellow. Those three colours with white is normally enough for me. You can mix pretty much, every colour that you need from those three colours and white, although sometimes I do need a bit of lemon yellow. So if I'm mixing really clean like tropical greens, like turquoises, I need lemon yellow. Cadmium yellow just won't do. I'm going for a 30 centimetre square canvas page, so I'm not going huge, keeping it quite small. Just go for those two brushes today, I think. Got a Daler Rowney number 6 round, and I've got a Daler Rowney number 6 filbert. Filbert is the one with the straight but with a rounded top, and a round is like your standard brush. Do my sketch of a pan, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to position the pan so that it's throwing out the most interesting shapes and colours, and you can see even in that photograph how interesting the pan looks if you sort of flatten it and look at it as an art object. You know, if you see those streaks of shade, those reflections of the palette, I think that is, bringing some beautiful oranges and copper tones into the bottom of the pan. We've also got some really nice cool blues and ice whites, beautiful ranges of dark metallic grey as well. Lovely, beautiful highlight all along the handle. So, you know, and if I use a bit of creative license and I place things in or around it, you can see that yellow makes beautiful colour reflections in the bottom of the pan. I can put it around to get more shapes and patterns in the reflective surface of the pan. But let's make a start. I'm going to do my basic sketch. When we're stuck for ideas, we can paint something ordinary. We can paint something that's ordinary, that surrounds us all the time. Maybe we don't, you know, we might see it, but we don't really notice it in any artistic way. It's almost like an invisible object because it's so familiar, even though it's surrounding us all the time. Blocking in. This is what they call blocking in, by the way. I'm not focusing too much on details, although I am observing the pan really, like, carefully. I'm not sort of just making it up. I'm not sort of, my eyes are constantly darting from the pan to my page. I'm not assuming I know what a pan looks like, because like I said before, this is the beauty of picking such a beautiful, ordinary object. There's so much surprising variety in it. I'm going to start bringing in a bit of an orange tone. And I'm not washing my brush. You might have noticed that I didn't wash my brush there, but that's a deliberate strategy. If this orange that I mix has got a little bit of the grey in that I've been using, then it'll tie in together. It'll be quite harmonious. It's not gonna, it'll look like it's part of the rest of the pan, if you see what I mean. So I'm just gonna start blocking in a few of these, like, strange yellowy orangey colours that I'm seeing. Almost a bit murky. I've got this really beautiful reflection along the top, which I'm just going to sort of block in a bit. I've got these crazy reflections here on the right hand side. I'm really loosening up now. I'm barely even mixing the colours. I'm just sort of getting in some rough ideas of texture and visual interest. It's a really beautiful blue reflection there. And then I'm going to block in these areas. These areas are much paler, so let's get in a big blob of white. Really loose application of paint here. I'm having a great time, actually. I'm really enjoying this. Okay, so that's sort of the blocking in of my basic pan. I'm going to do the handle now. Okay, so that's my blocking in finished, and already, you know, I'm actually already reasonably pleased with that. I'm happy with where it's going. It's in its first stage of blocking in, so it still looks quite messy and wobbly, but I'm really enjoying these loose application of colours, these really unusual colours, which, yes, I have used a bit of artistic license to emphasise. And then I can start to add a bit of detail on top of this. Also, you might remember from a previous live that a quick way to improve your studies is to add a shadow and to also add some background details. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of background details. I'm going to put the mat that the saucepan is sitting on. I'm going to put the edge of the table in the background. And I'm also going to give an indication, oops, I'm using stick charcoal here, by the way. I'm going to give an indication of this plant, which I've got. I'm really not going to add too much detail because I don't want the plant to be the focus. I'm just going to sort of really scratchily sort of give an idea of the leaves. I'm closely observing it, but I'm not adding in loads of detail. Just giving a slight hint that there is something there and that's plant-like. Helps to give a bit of detail. And I really like these sort of measuring lines on the mat. So I'm gonna put those in as well. Okay, so I've done that. Now that's given my acrylics time to dry a little bit as well. So I'm gonna go in with a small brush. Still not properly dry, but it's getting there. It's quite a warm day today. Bringing out this blue-grey again. I'm using my smaller brush. And I'm adding a bit of more carefully applied detail. I'm still keeping it pretty loose. So I've chosen to do a cooking pot on this occasion, but other ideas for unusual, or I could say usual, subjects to draw, like everyday normal things that surround us in the home, which are actually beautiful and really interesting and challenging to draw, are items in your bathroom. Porcelain, ceramic objects like your toilet, your sink, your taps. Now they are beautiful, like really beautiful to draw taps, especially when they're sparkling clean. Or maybe if they're encrusted in filth, you know, that could be quite challenging as well. Good way to practice your skills. So if you enjoyed this idea, consider a little painting trip to the bathroom. It's a really good way of pushing your skills as an artist. You know, if you can make a toilet look good, look interesting, look beautiful, that's a good sign. And again, you're probably not going to be making hugely sellable work. Not many people want a painting of a toilet on the wall, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is to challenge your skills as an artist and to generate ideas, give you inspiration for further projects down the line. I'm going to bring this one to a close now, and I'm going to add in a nice bluey shadow. The shadow is going to help to ground the piece so that it looks like it's on the floor, well, on the table, and not floating about in midair. And it also gives a bit of definition to the edges, and it makes the highlights in the piece stand out. So it's always worthwhile putting in a shadow. I'm going to be doing another live session in the next few weeks about coloured shadows, and what they are, what does coloured shadows mean, and how can we utilise them in creative ways. Carry on with this. It's a quick study. It's not my purpose here wasn't to create like a finished piece. I could carry on doing this for hours and hours, as much as I'd like to. Finding it hard to pull away, actually, but I've really enjoyed this, and yeah, so I'd love to see what you guys do. Paint the ordinary things around you, so don't always rely on the grand, amazing subject matter and topics. Think about painting and drawing the things around you, like pots and pans, furniture. Look around you. What do you see around you that's boring? But actually, when you start to look at it, could be really beautiful. And do a quick study. I mean, this is sort of like a 20-minute study or something, so not long. I hope you enjoyed watching today. See you at the next one. Bye.